have to pay.
It's Gra Life music.
You have to pay. GRA, loi moko dolel pour mo feko tax. GRA, nyuna kula namo nyana jola tukare kana nyenal. GRA, loi moko dolel pour mo feko tax. GRA, nyuna kula namo nyana jola tukare kana nyenal. Every domi rebune walai warnaga. La chesa bopala na mawarchi walu ligei remi. Dekuna de ligei korgor luar na la. Ga xamne face tax mo njëkk ci walu defar remi. Ben dëkk du dem ci kanam without paying taxes. Bu remi jëm ci kanam war na ku ne nga fay sa tax. Bul ko jéema fàtte fay sa tax lu waayi réew la kon def ko misa sax la li ngay fay dépasse réew. GRA lu waa moo ko dooleel pour mu fay ko tax. GRA mi rango la naamoo ñan na joola du ko rek na ñi naal. GRA.
Hello, good evening from wherever you might be watching us from. So I say good afternoon. You're welcome once again to another edition of the GRA Hour here on QTV. And I am your host, Ansumana Iswanyasi, and with me here is, our brother Babukar Njai, who is a regular on this program. And as usual, we have other guests, but we would allow our brother to introduce them, after which we would bring you today's topic. And hopefully later in the program, we will also open the lines so that our audience can have the opportunity to either ask questions or seek clarifications and also make, their contributions. So last week, I think we did the informal sector regulations. Today we'll be introducing a new topic. But guys, good afternoon for us.
Yes, good afternoon, Eso, and good afternoon to our viewers wherever they may be viewing from. As Eso rightly said, my name is Babukar Njai, Senior Taxpayer Education Officer at the Gambia Revenue Authority.
Indeed. So with us today is Tijan Gay, who is Customs Officer for Trade Facilitation and International Cooperation. I think this is his first time on this platform. We're very much happy to welcome you on the program, Tijan. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Ansumana, and good afternoon to my colleagues. It's a pleasure to share the platform with you. My name is Tijan Gay. Like you said, I'm a Customs Officer for Trade Facilitation and International Cooperation.
Right.
And today it's my day because it's authorized economic operator. It's my baby.
Indeed.
Myself and Omar Bojang, this is our baby. So it's a pleasure to sensitize the general public on our activities of AEO. Thank you.
Indeed, and we're really happy to have you here. And with us also is Fatu Cham, who is the Taxpayers Service Officer. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eso. And welcome to the Gra Talk Show. And we are back here again, though this is my first time on the platform. Yeah. And I'm saying hello to all my colleagues that are on the platform with me. I am Fatu Cham, Taxpayer Service Officer at the Cardiffing office.
Great. So, guys.
Yes, I think this one, as Tijan rightly said, is his baby. Yes. So he's going to lead the discussion.
Great. Tijan,
yes.
So, as you highlighted earlier, our topic is on authorized economic operator, right? Take us through who is an AOE. When we say authorized economic operator, what do we mean?
Thank you very much, Ansumana. I think you just fell into the trap. It's AEO.
AEO, exactly.
AEO. Don't worry, you are not the first in this.
Even at the office, we struggle.
Even at the office, it's now a big joke in the office.
Okay.
It's actually authorized economic operator, AEO.
Yes.
But even some senior customs officers quickly mistake it for AEO or AOO. So it's now a joke in the office. AOO. So we have the AEO manager, we have AOO manager, we have AEO manager. So you are not the first in this. But thank you so much. I would like to give a quick background as to the authorized economic operators, because it's a new concept in the Gambia.
Yeah.
And for the viewers and any other person to understand AEO, you have to understand the background or the events that led to the introduction of the AEO. You know, the Gambia, it's a member of the World Customs Organization.
Yeah.
And as such, we always look out for what is recommended by the World Customs Organization so that we can adjust ourselves to the international best practice. Now, the authorized economic operator, it's a compliance and a security program. Now, these are two things that are very important when it comes to the movement of goods and services across borders. And the events that led to the AEO is basically the 9/11 event in the United States when the Twin Towers were bombed. You know, when the investigations were done, the world realized that the customs as an institution have a great role to play in terms of security of the movement of goods. And as such, the World Customs Organization introduced a document called the Safe Framework of Standards. Now, the documents have basically 3 pillars. And the first pillar is the customs to customs cooperation. That is customs of different countries cooperating in terms of sharing information, you know, carrying out joint patrols and a lot of other things. The other pillar is the customs to business cooperation, and this is where the AEO programs falls in. Now, this is a partnership between the customs and the businesses. Now, when I say the businesses, this includes every person who is involved in the international supply chain. Whoever has a role to play in the movement of goods from the manufacturing to the final consumer is part of the supply chain. So, and as such, it is important for the customs to have a network, a trust relationship between them and the international, and the business community. And the third pillar is the customs to other government agencies. Now, customs, of course, like, you know, it's not the only legal enforcement agent at the borders. There are a lot of them. There is the immigration, there is the police, there is the food safety, a host of them. Now, because the movement of goods is tied with time, the businessman and time, these are two critical things in the movement of goods. Now, we also understand that in the movement of goods, there are a lot of functions that are supposed to be done. Customs carry out the inspection, drug enforcement are part of it, and they have an interest in consignment. So we have now 2 important things. How do we ensure that the movement of goods is quick, but also we don't jeopardize security? Now, if you look at the port of Banjul today, I mean, the movement of goods, the inflow of goods today and the inflow of goods maybe 15, 20 years ago is quite different. It's even multiplied 10 or multiplied 20. Now, customs have the traditional function of opening containers, you know, inspecting them, doing examinations and scanning and all these things. Now, if you keep doing these things like we used to do, examine every container, open every container, you know, a lot of containers will lie at the port for a long period of time. But also, we cannot just let containers move, because we also have the responsibility of security. Now, how do we balance these 2 things? That is where the authorized economic operator program comes in, where I think, Babukar, I'm taking a lot, and this thing has to be translated. Yes. Like I said, it's my baby, so I am very passionate about this thing. So please stop me whenever it is.
As we progress, we will delve more into the program itself. Sure. But just quickly before Babukar will come in, when was it introduced in the Gambia?
Well, right now, we have not fully introduced it. Okay. We are doing the groundwork. Perfect. It has been introduced in so many countries, like in Japan 20 years, in China 15 years or so. But, you know, this is the third world. We have to take our time. Yeah. And the other thing is the program is designed by the World Customs Organization, but it's not to be applied as it is designed by the WCO. Yeah. The WCO encourage member states to domesticate it. And that is what we are doing now. Domesticating the rules and regulations, domesticating everything so that, you know, we will know where to start. Right now, we are doing the groundworks, and very soon we will kick off.
Great, thank you, Tijan.
Yes, abaraka bake Tijan, comme fo nyame rek momo be juwe dawo dangi kontom bake ntel jiaren ko lenata jang comme dalta kake nyame every Saturday. Dans hakilo bakang last week informal sector regulation nga wole discuss no, but bi topic ko nyim falinta kana men discuss volum authorized economic operator anka fo me AEO. Duanyo la program molom nal hakilo bakang na program do bijang afale nung ko jiare nga 8 departments le soto but those departments 2 operational departments or customs leti and domestic tax so customs BT jan le nata mabe gal to yala fortunately fat cham fanam be domestic tax la is one of the operational departments as well so ngamen kacha bi wolom AEO ko nga foy nyameng program molom me alon ko anyanta nala Gambia and sumana ma dati follow, but right now mba tabikan dumale ka kuwol dada sombe molle sensitize kan jannabe parela ibajela because na pareta reko batar la sensitization is over membe tar la je is just to roll it out and nga start ka kuwol tamandi ñin dung mune ya nati nang nala kilo bakang 9/11 kabriyo bunjangol bom America wotu mone WCO sita ya jube ko customs e role le soto e quand même play fengol mel ka dun sate ko nanim fengol men ka finti because itata da oda any border land sea or air ibe custom officer sol tar la jele with other partners identamen so ya jube ko sañ inyanta nyim programme o nying dundila dunia kono ni tata banku dolto nak start ta jele already bot jang aman start follow ba kole kacha kan funa wato sita isaje asi start no so nyin nak ay programme sabale ba kono force custom ning customs la operation be kala nyaadi le banku nim banku tema duwañol be kala nyaadi le fo ya lon ko ila do ko nyimbe avec kila kilinete because world custom organization dunia be le ba kono the other one be kila custom ning businessman on leti because businessman on titano la customs koma customs faran titano la businessman on koma na manding ka kawni na surwa ka ka fole duwañol so ibaje la nying safaro dum ka kenya men dunia be kono duwañol mo important ngol leto nying kono but security fanan mo duwañol fanan na do ko leti ila do ko daba kono wolum revenue collection wolum ila force main activity trade facilitation fanan bijele and security fanan bije so nyin security and nyin trade facilitation wala be fall la into this AEO so ibaje la sign customs ning business ning programme be design la nyamen wolum lanno nyanta tarle temale comme tidiane ya fo nyamen ning ko be continental be yele la port nyinto abe time jama talale but ning ko fanante yele la fanan be security fanan risk la le so nyin ko fulol bita nyaadi le kilindo batandila abe ta nyama wolum ning AEO nyin na objective ti and the third one wolum customs ning stakeholders ol menon ko itelle denta nyin security nyin na that is Gambia police bijele immigration bije FSQA bije you know itelle denta nyin na drug squad fanam bije so nyil be tarla nyin programme to nyaadi le wolum ning AEO nyin na objective ti
okay
yes
abarka bare abake Baboucarr Fatou
mbokk yi ñu ngi leen di sargalaat ci programme bi di leen wax ne tey dañ ñëw pour waxtaane topic bu ñoo ooyee AEO mooy authorized economic operator topic bi nag liggéeyi customs la anyway ba pare it was introduced by the World Customs Organization Gambia tamit they are part of the World Customs Organization so li gën a indi yëfi topic bi mooy ne there was a time ku nekk dégg nga 9/11 bi mu xappu ne in America bañ daaneel ñaari building yu rëy yooyu noonu bom leen so si lañ gis ne customs dañ war a saytu tamit security bi nga xam ne moo war si wàlla bi nga xam ne ay bagages mooy goods and services from fi ñu leen di defaree di production ba ñu leen di transport muy génn ci dëkk bi ñu ko defaree di dem ci beneen dëkk ba ay nit di ko fa consume so loolu moo waraloon ñu indi programme yi AEO bii nii introduce nañ ko nag ci ay dëkk yu bari ay at yu bari si gannaaw waaye ñun Gambia ñu ngi cee door a jot parce que ñun we are in the third world country waaye tamit bëgg nañoo bokka ci li nga xam ne àdduna baa ngi koo doxal ak tamit ñuy def best practice mooy ñuy doxal suñ yëfi jaay ak jënda within suñ dëkka ak bitim réew ci anam bi mu génnee mooy best practice si angale waaw so loolu moo waral ñu introduce this topic topic bi nag is such that ne ëmb na yi ñetti mbir mooy custom officer from benn dëkka ba beneen dëkka ni ñoo doxalee seeni mbir because dëkka bu nekk am na border share nañ border so ñu nekk fële ne di liggéey as customs ak ñu nekk fii am na wala boo xam ne nii dinañ ko dee saytu si bagage yi jógee ci beneen dëkka di dugga si beneen dëkka and then customs ak tamit business community bi ñoom tamit am na wàll boo xam ne nii war nañ ko def ci diggante ni ay bagage di duggee ci dëkka ak di génn ci dëkka ci booda si tamit soo demee ñetteel bi mooy soo demee ci booda si like doo fa dee fekk custom officers rek yaa ngi am yeneen stakeholders mooy ñeneen ñi nga xam ne nii tamit am nañ ci wàlla lu demee ni immigration lu demee ni police lu demee ni food and safety ak yeneen ñoo xam ne nii daal am nañ ci wàlla ñoo ñëpp ñu ngi liggéeya ñoom tamit pour make sure ne this program is well introduced in the Gambia waaw so ci gàttal daal programme bi is about ni ñoo facilitate trade in accordance with compliance with customs mooy ne sarta yi nga xam ne customs tëddal nañ ko ne ñu ngee doxalee noonu ak tamit security because security dafa nekk loo xam ne nii lu important la mooy kaaraange because doo mun a bàyyi ay bagage rek mu jógee feneen beneen dëkka ñëw dugga sa dëkka te yow bagage yooyu xamuloo lan moo ci nekka so foog customs def seen liggéey xool ndax bagage yooyu noonu nekkul ne loo xam ne nii su duggasee si dëkka bi dina lor waa dëkka bi wala déet so in that case dinañ inspect dinañ seet bagage yooyu lan la bala moo mun a dugga ci dëkka bi so léegi daal there is gonna be a mutual trust mooy óolute boo xam ne nii dina nekk diggante customs ak business community bi su ko defee ñu mun a introduce this authorized economic operator waaw loolu la daal ci gàttal loolu la.
jërëjëf Fatou, thank you Baboucarr. Tijan, now that we have an idea of what the program is about,
yes.
What does it seek to achieve and who can apply for the program?
Thank you, Ansumana. The objective of the program is to encourage compliance, but also to ensure security. These are the two fundamental pillars of the program. Like the word authorized economic operator. Now, when you say authorized, it is now the customs, or in this context, GRA, that is saying to a businessman, you are authorized economic operator. We have given you the authority because we have trusted you based on X, Y, and Z. You are an authorized economic operator. It's like she said it very well. It's a trust relationship between the customs and the business community. Now, but before you trust somebody, Ansumana, before I cannot just meet you in the streets and say I trust you. There must have been history between us, to warrant me to say you are a trusted person.
There has to be conditions.
There has to be conditions. There has to be a lot of conditions that must be fulfilled, on the side of the businessman and also on the side of customs before you are given an authorized economic operator status. And that is basically the objective of the program. But like in terms of who can apply, the program is designed to secure the supply chain, the international supply chain. Now that is to say, the supply chain is from the manufacturing of goods to the transportation of those goods, to the declaration of those goods, and to the final consumption of those goods. Now, any person who is part of this line, from the manufacturing of goods to where they get to the final consumer. You know, the goods that we consume in the Gambia, most of them are not manufactured here. They came from some other countries. Now, the security is not only in the Gambia, but it's to secure the supply chain. We are not only interested in the goods by the time they get to the Gambia. We need to get information of these goods prior to their getting to the Gambia. That is the security of the international supply chain. Now, how do we ensure this? We cannot just say the program is only for clearing agents. If only for clearing agents, the clearing agents are given information by their contractor or whoever is bringing the goods, that is the consignee. But if you also say it's only for the consignee, how about the clearing agent that has the right to make declarations? What do they know about it? So the program is out for every person or every institution or everybody that is a part of the supply chain, from the manufacturers, transporters, clearing agents, importers, exporters, and by extension the small and medium enterprise corporations, because they also seek to do export. So in effect, the program is just to ensure there is balance between trade facilitation, security, and also revenue collection. This is the basic objective of the program.
Guys, Jumal say program one. Jumal sa apply no program one.
Okay, thank you. Comme Tijan ya fanyaming, it is very very important. Comme Melsa apply no meli alon ko lebe chain nyinto, me alon ko le responsible taka bagasol be dati dala daming. For wato me alon ka be futala molma meli alon ko itel leba use la. But nyinak it should be a legal entity me alon ko register ta Gambia kono. You understand it? Because akanyil men be futeng the businessman, you have to be registered with the AG chambers or even or the single window, and you also file finance with the GRA. Clearing agent sol fana you can register GRA, le GRA will be license or deal la pour operate. You understand? So ibaji la nyilbe register nyilbe nyanta kela a legal entity when is registered in the country. So ibaji la nyilbe niya ni GRA le fana be authorized la pour isi nyin soto. And this at least abe last la for 2 years. Bekela sanji fula lete. Within that sanji fula period niya jube yedo ko nyinke nyameng na tata nyama is possible ye bula ye continue. Isn't it? Na ramanta nyama iba revoke no lale or even suspend it. So iba jela pour ka nyin chain nyin secure wolum pour tanko ye soto nyin taran silo nyin niamo angalel ko chain wolum taran silo nyin bagasol because jama bi jentel Gambian kamen use jang akabunam bantale abe dadala muntole fo wato me alon kabe futala Gambia fo cleared agent sol babondi la por nyinto fabe futalantel ya me alon ko bem fanna falala wocci nyin nyanta secure lale wala nyanta tankalale anu fanang meng important je fanang businessman nim fanang atela ku ke nyani GRA by extension customs lan nona nyanta terlantema nyanta lale lale andu lan nona atekela biti rek ni ansumana e bembe do to rek e ngala ko ansumana no at least nyanta ku ke nyoya sota nyolale wato me alon ko hanna man ke wati jangote fam bot wati dantang me alon ko be lale lale den isaje do ko nyin sikeno so tata nata dal application on nyin momo yalon ka be nyin chain nyin kono and is legally registered wolong ala business on nyin registered ale comme nga fanya me with the AG chambers or the single window or with the GRA me yalon ko nyanta file soto la ila business o be establish nyin area mento.
Okay. Fatu kan mo muna apply pro program bi
program bi ñi ko muna apply mooy like any business boo xam ne ni register nañ la ci dëkk bi either with the AG chambers or with the single window ak tamit fekk ne am nga a file with the GRA yaa ngay fay sa taxi ni mu waree te like yaa ngi in this supply chain mooy ne yaa ngi si diggante jaay ak jënda from fi ñoo defaree bagages yi ba di indi bagages yi fii ci dëkk bi ba clearing agency di ko génnee ba ñun ñi nga xam ne ñun ñoo ko njëriñoo jot nañ si so su dee yaa ngi loolu mooy la ñu ooyee supply chain su dee yaa ngi ci business boobu noonu for like 2 years ak comme ni ma ko waxee ne register nga and everything then yow war ngaa mun a bokk ci programme bi.
Okay.
Wow, programme bi nag like dafa nekk loo xam ne nii comme ni ma ko njëkkee woon a wax bi ma introduce topic bi mooy it should be trust óolute bu nekk ci diggante customs ak business entity bi waaw mooy businessmen yi because du ma la mun a gis tey rek ma ne la óolu naa la foog dina am loo xam ne nii jaar na suñ diggante ay at ci gannaaw ñu door a mun a am that trust in between us. So trust boobu noonu suñ ko amee so yow ak tamit like gis nañ ne yow sarta yi nga wala mutal yëpp mutal nga ko din nga war a mun a bokk ci programme bii nii.
Jërëjëf Fatou. So Tijan, I would like us to look at the conditions for eligibility for this program. What is the criteria?
Thank you, Ansumana. But before I get to the eligibility criteria, because maybe some of the viewers might get confused about this. If you are not given authorized economic operator status, you cannot do business with the customs. That is not what it means. This is a special status given to businessmen or clearing agents. So it's not to say if you are not given AEO, you cannot do business with the customs. It's like, you know, like they said, a lot are called, but few are chosen. You still, if you are registered in the Gambia, you are a legal entity in the Gambia. If you have any business to do with GRA, it's your right, it's your responsibility, also responsibility of GRA to do business with you. But if you have a certain status, if you have a certain relationship with the customs or GRA, you can be given authorized economic operator status, and you will stand to benefit from X, Y, and Z given by the GRA. Exactly what it means. Not to say if you are not given AU Pro status, you cannot do business with customs. If you are an importer in the Gambia, you can be importing your goods, you can be exporting your goods, but do you have what it requires for GRA to give you AO status? If you do, we will give it to you and you will enjoy X, Y, and Z benefits.
So just before you comment on the criteria part of it, I remember when Jais was interpreting in the Mandinka, he did also mention that your authorization could be revoked.
Yes.
That is, in case you happen to violate the conditions that the authority would, put in place.
Right.
And I know it's what, for 2 years. I'm interested. What I'm interested in knowing is how do you go about monitoring these businesses that you give authorization to ensure that they do the right thing, that they go about doing whatever business they're doing in this category. As per the rules that the authority would put in place.
Yes. So earlier I mentioned that we are doing the groundworks, and part of the groundworks is the AU regulation. It has to have some legal framework to say this and this and this is what you are required to have the AU. But if you have the AU, if you do X, Y, and Z, your certificate can be suspended or revoked. Now, the AU is a lifelong program. When we started, we wanted to go forever. Okay. But we cannot give you a certificate today and say this certificate lasts forever.
Yeah,
right? The certificate, when we give you, it's valid for a period of 2 years. And after these 2 years, we will reassess you.
Correct.
If you are still where you were in terms of trust and compliance and security, we will give you the certificate for the next 2 years. But within the 2-year period, if you violate any of our conditions, any of the conditions of giving you the certificate, depending on the kind of infringement you do, it can be suspended or it can be revoked.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at the criteria now.
Yes, the criteria, compliance is number one. Like we made clear, it is a compliance and security program. So these are the two pillars. First is compliance. There are 4 criteria, but the first is compliance. Compliance, financial viability, internal control systems, and also what we call the security. Now, compliance, what do we mean by compliance? We've been doing business with the importers, the exporters, the clearing agents all this time. We will check, for example, if Babukar, as a registered company in the Gambia, applies to be given the AO status, we will check your history. How compliant have you been with customs law? How compliant have you been with FSQA law? All the other laws that are in the country. We are not only concerned about customs law, because all these institutions, all these legal bodies at the borders are also carrying out mandates that are geared towards one thing, that is development of this country. So we check your compliance. If you are an importer, I forgot to mention that the program for now, we are trying to do a pilot. And as such, we cannot open it to everyone. We have to do trial and error first. So considering the business environment in the Gambia, we are piloting with the importers first. So when importers apply, we will check this importer has been importing goods in the Gambia for the past 5, 6, 7, who knows how many years. We will check your history. Remember, we have the custom system, and your history is always with us. Have you ever done some misclassification? That is to say, you brought water, and you tell us you brought a watch, because watch pay less than water, for example. Or did you bring 50 cartons of water and you told us, no, I brought 20 cartons because you want to pay less. When you do and we catch you, all this history is in our systems. So we'll go back to the system, we'll go back to risk management unit to find out the compliance level of this person for the past 2 years or so. We'll not only stop there, we'll also go to the other agencies, the Drug Enforcement Agency, the FSQA, the immigration. Have you violated any of their laws for the past few years? That is the first requirement, compliance. Because it's basically compliance. We want to make sure when we give you the benefits, when your consignment comes to, I'm just thinking ahead, is one of the benefits like you will have faster clearance process. We may not check all your consignment once we give you the status. But we want to make sure before we give you that status, that you are a trustworthy person and you have proven that over the years. So that's why compliance is number one. And do I have to go to the second one before they do the translation?
Maybe we allow them to do the
Yes,
translation,
yes,
and
yes.
then we'll go into the second one. Yes,
Thank you, Tijan. It is a subject that he mastered very well.
I can see that.
As he rightly said, I would just want to start with where he started to just kahitandi mola ko nayata imang AEO soto does not mean ko ite business ki no la Gambia laftale je koy avec ñi mu programme on me anon ko I just start tale rek ma start follow from ba ko tamandin ka dumal na be start la ni molle la me anon ko wol ka baga sol dundi nang sa tew ñing kono nga test je follow nata tamata den mel anon ko sartol nga mel londi mel o sartol ñin timmandi iba soto lale ni ma soto fanan does not mean ko ite business ke la Gambia laftale je koy mo yanon ko e business register Gambia yela kaytol be soto correctly you are entitled pour la business to operate Gambia kono ñi mo fi samantele timi anon ko mol ba soto la rek sarta folol men bije comme Tidiane ya fanya men wolom compliance compliance nak niya moy dawo da wolom ka loi noma first na ya ramba dile le sarto men folo jubela inin customs la ku kenyo ya kita nyadile nga system so don ka fami asikuda wall bela system bela information o check lale customs risk management fanam bije mba jubela fo ansumana nene man tapale yake baga solta ka men nati comme misclassification Tidiane ya fo wolom nyinti ko nga jiyo sambanang ngoy ko no nga kayto le sambanang because maybe kayto mbi men jola kayto to wala be gina chip la jiyo nyinti wo history be mba jubela le on the declaration fanang nga bidon tan lulu sambanang nga nan koy ko no nga muwanne nati because ni nga muwannati be men jola wala be doyala katambi tan lulu ti so mbe o be jubela inim police fanan keta nyaadi le bita police ol fana hay be history di la mula nata ene man dung any problem that involves police for ene man junje drug squad fanan the same thing so mbe la history jubela into all the security sister service nata ene man problem so to nyil beto den yo sarto nyin timmandile sarta nani lo nga follow le ma follow den si fat champa na bulayna den after nga continue nata wato nyin so wala
inshallah Fatou
waaw comme ni ko gars yi doon waxee rek dafa am benn lifin buñ bugg a leeral mooy ne comme like su dee joxuñ la dis AEO certificate loolu minute ne like yow mënuloo def business si dëkk bi déedéet AEO certificate bi dafa nekk ne xëj na suñ la ko joxee fekkate matal nga sarta yi nga war a matal yëpp beneen maxaama la understand nga boo xam ne nii moom nga am yow as a business man waaye loolu taxut ne yeneen business yi si mënuñoo def business si dëkk bi waaw loolu lañ bëggoon a leeral rek si gàttal léegi su ko defee ma ñëw ci lifin bi lan moo lii nii di criteria waaw pour nga war a mun a bokk ci AEO bii nii number one sarta yi nga war a mun a njëkka mutal mooy compliance nag moom soo ko déggee mooy ne ndax yow loi customs yaa ngi koo jëfee as a business entity waaw su dee loi yi yëpp yaa ngi koo jëfee loolu dina war a tax ba ñu ne yow yaa ngi compliant waaye nag du em rek si loi customs dina am yeneen tamit yu ñoo seet si biir because dafa bari stakeholders yoo xam ne nii ñu ngi liggéeya ñoom te foog ñu seet foofu noonu tamit xool ndax yow musuloo faa am problème ak kenn lu demee ni let's say drug squad bi ndax yow musuloo am any problem with the drug squad ndax yow tamit musuloo lifin am problème with police bi ak tamit ndax yow musuloo like break down sarta immigration si dëkk bi let's say food and safety ñooñu ñëpp dinañ xool ndax ñoom seen sarta yiñ tëddal ne business community bi loolu lañ war a toppa ak seen luwaay yi yow yaa ngi koo jëfee wala déet
dafa mel ni pour bokk ci programme bi óolute dëgg la laaj
waaw óolute dëgg la laaj foog ñu seet fànn yi yëpp ba xam ne yow dëgga yaa ngi comply tamit si under domestic taxes tamit dinañ xool ndax yow yaa ngi fay sa taxi ni mu waree ak tamit ndax yaa ngi koo fay on time loolu yëpp si compliance bi la bokka waaw
Tijan, let's do the second criteria now.
Yes, before I get to the second criteria, still on the compliance, The compliance that we just explained is at the level of the business.
Yes.
But inside the compliance also is the employees of the business. We don't only look at the business, we also look at the employees of the business. Have any of their employees carried out an infringement of customs law or any other law? So you could see that it's a very serious program.
It is.
Because what is involved in it, it's a lot of trust. Because if you are saying your consignment will not be subject to a lot of customs controls, we have to be sure that you are up for the business. So we don't only check the compliance level of the business, but also its employees. The business might have been compliant, but probably one of their staff is doing something that is not compliant level. So that alone could be a problem for the business. And the second one is the financial viability. Before customs, and for people to understand the criteria, they are not in isolation of the benefits. So for the viewers to understand the criteria, they also have to understand it in line with the benefits. Because one of the benefits we are going to give to an AEO is we can just deliver your goods without payment. You have 50 containers at the port, or 20 containers, or even one container. But at that material time, you don't have money to pay for that business. Because you have AEO status, we'll say, all right, carry out your container, just go and sell. Anytime you finish selling, or we give you a period of 30 days, 45 days, you come back to us and pay. And that is trust.
Of course.
So, but for us to be able to do that for you, we have to be sure that you are financially viable to settle any customs debt at any point in time. And I have to also make it clear, it's not money we are asking you to give us. It could be proof from the bank that you have X, Y, and Z amount of money, so that if we give you what we call direct delivery, and when the time is due, you can come back and pay. So it is important to us for that the business is not a broke business. It's not a business that is just managing. But also, we put into account the conditions of the Gambia. So we will make sure that the amount we are going to put as collateral is not going to be such that it discriminates other businesses. We are going to consider all these things. But we need to be sure that you are financially viable to have that relationship with customs. Because we have a mandate. We have a mandate to give a certain amount of money to the government every month. So we cannot just be giving out people direct deliveries without, assurance that they are going to pay.
It looks like you have to be a serious business really, to benefit from this program.
Yes. Thank you, Ansumana and Tijan. As comme Tijan ya fanyamen rek compliance ni fanan bela do kulal fanan jubela mele alon ko ka do ko ke company nyinto wol fanan na history be nyadi la inin customs tema we o weda inin police tema o we meda inin drug squad tema be o fanan jubela le fulanjango nyim fanan angalel ka fme financial viability wolom nafulo la karola ye mune landi me anon ka bay tandila ko ila nyim business o mo business serious in won lede amanke ki yanko la business o business o mi anon ko
wala fulo
ayo ma tijan mu fulo le dia ade son no wala de abe kala business o mi an ka kala business serious in won lede because ni tada fo AEO ni soto one of the benefits be men soto la je wolum nafa kilo membe tar la je wolum direct delivery si la baka sol fintindi no la yeta na raya be check le kaytul be correct and everything e baka sol yeta e wafiro ke foni pareta ibe piu boato le dira standi tili tannin lulu wala tili muang wala tili sansaba ye ko do ni sayndina ena joro nyinke yala wo mulan no leti mo nyanta lale pour ayo ke masala ye container muwan nati e nyanta be jola tata for 300 or 200,000 example ye bulay ni wo be tata iko ye 30 days time ni nyanta nalale so ite nyanta bank statement soto la wala bank draft me anon ko avec la coup serious no lati amanya na kala any child's play business oti you understand so ni woketa then abe easy la le pour moli lela but na rawo mon soto nak abe ko le ala bakele so lati na manki ko binala ya ko di maning di mol la ko do nyi fele hani bari ko do nyi nyanta lala dulale to me alon ka bi jele ko ning yeb julu soto customs
iba jolo
la
okay abarka baki Baboucar Fatou
waaw ba tey ñu ngi ci sarta yi nga xam ne moo war a tax ñu jox la AEO bi ni certificate bi yow as a business njëkk nañoo waxtaan about the compliance foog naa boobu leer na ñaareel bi mooy financial viability ndax yow sa business bi like am nga enough xaalis pour run business bi nekkut business boo xam ne nii dañ ko nekk di manage o di ut fooy lebee di origaay di taxale waaw nekkut façon business boobu noonu la ñoo wax waaw business boo xam ne nii business bu takku la business boo xam ne nii comme like yaa ngi am collateral boo xam ne nii collateral boo xam ne dina mun a cover up like sa yëfi ferrement business yëpp collateral foog naa moom lañ dee ooyee garantie tamit foog naa not so waaw pour ñi nga xam ne dégguñ anglais ñu gën a understand so léegi su ko defee waaye ba tey duñ ko def mu métti torop ba nga xam ne yeneen business yi duñ si gis seen boppa dinañ tamit bàyyi xel situation yi dëkk bi naka la mel when it comes to yëfi business waaw su boobaa den dinañ xam ne yow di nga war a mun a am collateral boo xam ne nii di nga war a mun a lifin support sa business bi ni mu waree ba pare am na njëriñ boo xam ne nii suñ la joxee this AEO certificate am na ko mooy soo indee ay bagage si port bi mun nañ laa jox direct delivery mooy mun nga génne sa bagage yi rek nga dem jaay te fekk fayanguloo li nga war a fay customs den soo jaayee ba pare dafa depend si ban agreement nga def ak customs ndax dañ la may 2 weer nga jaay delloo si waat xaalis bi nga waroon a fay port bi wala dañ la jox at wala dafa depend daal ban agreement ngeen def parce que tamit duñ mun a nekk di jox ku nekk rek ngay génne sa bagage yi di dem te fekk fayanguloo parce que customs am nañ sarta buñ am ak nguur gi te nga xam ne comme lay dina am weer bu nekk o target si ñu dee jox pour ñu leen di jox xaalis because xam ngeen Gambia bi moom is a tax based economy so foog am luy war a jógee customs di dugga ci kofa si réew mi waaw so duñ la mun a nekk rek di jox rek ngay dem rek te doo indiwaat xaalis
condition si nag matal ko yombut waaye bëri na njëriñ
waaw bëri na njëriñ
moo si ne okay let's move on now to other criteria still.
Yes, but still on the financial viability, a lot of things are stuck in my head. So as we move on,
I also want to seize this opportunity.
The criteria it's very important. It's the key. Yeah. So we have to take our utmost best to clarify to the viewers.
I want to seize this opportunity to open the lines as well for our audience. I mean, we're also on radio and online. If you want to call, you can do so on 5050505, 5050505, and Tijan, Abukar, or Fatu would, respond to your queries, even if you have comments to make as well. Yes, please, you may proceed.
Yes, the financial viability part of it, I'd like to mention that the AEO is going to be a sector base. Perhaps the amount we will require the importers to bring might not to bring, but to have as collateral. Might not be the same amount that we are going to give the MSMEs, the small businesses. So we are going to make it such that every part of the supply chain, finds something to be part of the program. Okay. And the third one is the internal control systems. So you could see that the first one, that is the compliance and the financial viability, is more of the relationship between GRA and the business person. But the third and the fourth one, this internal control system and security, is the business itself. How does the business operate? Now, internal control system here is how does the business carry out itself in terms of their premises, in terms of their conveyance, in terms of their relationship with other businesses. So the business have to be internally controlled. That is to say, you have to have audited accounts, you have to have some restricted areas. I know in QTV it's not, Babukar cannot just step into every part of, there are restricted areas.
Yeah, sure.
The sensitive areas of the business have to be such that it's not accessible to every person. How does the business control itself? So that's the internal control system.
Okay.
Basically.
You have CCTV should be everywhere also.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Tijan. Comme Tijan ya fanya meng sarta sabanjango ning wolom internal control ti. Aning security management system ni wolom business o ning fon control ta nyadi le comme alla fanko ka ke nyadi le na al business o ning kata nyadi la ka dun nyadi le o be nyanta kelale kule timi anon ka koytale alka business o nyim fanan ka operate wala ka tama dulamento je fanan atankata nyaadi le because business o manyen na kela dulati mi anon ko momo lafta dunna dawo dai si dunje momo lafta men kela yakije no anyanta kela dulati mi anon ka abe tankalale you know comme for example ni nata jang mi teme mantra do ko la jang ite dunno la dula beto ni tata tel fanan na office fanan is the same thing ni mantra do ko la je pour yet tambi bunda do la fanga te possible no la because fay si bulo dundi dula do to bunda ñe yele so ni mantra do ko la je ni bulo dundi masino ni mbay tele ko hani itete tambi no la jam so fanan is important anum fanan ni bi ni ajube modern day security tata dawoda CCTV katala dulal tole so bajela na rayta la business so da ba kono ka baga solta ka bondi dulato ka selendi motol kono camera nyanta tar la jele membe nyimbe control la because babu kar sitarano jele be baga sol selendi la na fendu dunda kono me alam ko dati je ya understand but na camera bi je nim problem keta ci tano na camera nyin rewind me ya dundi je mba jelale so drani nyanta secure la but so nin dulani man secure rek then business o ñin na management ñing aning internal control ñing lafta la ñameng aman tra wo ñama
okay abaraka baake Fatou
beneen sarta bi ñoo wax mooy internal control system nag soo ko déggee mooy doxalini business bi within ci biir business bi parce que business dafa war a am security comme like place bi ñoo defee business war naa am security war naa am loo xam ne nii ay CCTV cameras ñu ngi fa in case xëj na ñuy eb bagage
Fatou maa ngi jégalu ñu ngi ma xamal ne am nañ koola si line bi hello asalaamaaleykum
hello my friend na ngeen def
jaama rek sant yàlla
programme bi baax na trop rafet na trop
jërëjëf tur beeg fay koole
da gars yi li ñuy wax nii dañ ko daan defal nit yi nga am si problème ndax mosuñu see am problème bi ko xam nga nit yi yëpp duñu benn
ndax dañ ko daan defal nit yi
waaw nga indi sa bagage custom ñu ne la yóbbul container bi nga dem jaay ñaar fukki fan ñaari weer benn weer
ok
waaw xam nga li ñuy wax ni yooyu yëpp dimbal la waaye mën nga koo defal nit mu def rek nooy bul wari ndax mos nañ koo defal ay nit ñu jaay leen ndax la
baax na gars dinañ la si indil leen incha allah
thank you sir
jërëjëf thank you so much jërëjëf
dafa mel ni moom businessman la it seems like he knows what we are talking about he's talking about the direct delivery waaw si olof direct delivery bi nag nekkul loo xam ne lu ees la si customs mu ngi fa woon yàgg na fa waaye da ngaa gis ne ñun direct delivery mooy boo indee bagage si container si port bi nga war a fay for exemple 100,000 te amuloo 100,000 loo am nga dugal boo amul sax ñu jox la sa container nga yóbbu boo jaayee ba pare si diiri fukki fan wala 30 days boo paree ñëw jaay waaye as of now comme direct delivery nu mu tegoo léegi ni as we speak dafa am collateral Baboucarr Njie moo xam ne amul authorized economic operator status su amee container si port bi te mu bugg a ñu leb ko moom mel ni leb rek la ñu lebal ko waaw moom bu ñëwee dafaa joxe chèque it's part of the conditions dafaa joxe chèque nga xam ne su wax jamono bu ñu waxtaan bu jotee te moom ñëwut dinañ mën a jël chèque boobu dem dugal xaalis bi si customs te as of now direct delivery bi is very limited it's not open to everyone te the conditions are kind of stiff waaye boo demee ba nga am authorized economic operator status dafa mel ni dafaa gën a yomba ci yow because at that point duñ la laaj check duñ la laaj ne is from the 1st to the 15th because as of now direct delivery dafa am time from the 1st of the month to the 15th of the month diir boobu la bu rombee boobu rek duñ joxee direct delivery waaye boo demee bi am AO status mun naa nekk at any time so direct delivery bi moo wax mu ngi fa waaye dafa mel ni du ñëpp lañ koo jox te buñ koo jox nitam dafa am ay lu bëri lu ñoo gestu because like we said earlier we have a responsibility to collect money and we don't joke with that waaye AO status bu ñëwee lot of this condition nga joxee check wala 10 to 15 for as long as you are an AEO we will not require any of these things to you so it's like stepping up the direct delivery
okay
well, but that is already there direct delivery is already there
numbers yi nag yooyu ngeen a gis screen bi mun ngeen a call any of those numbers inshallah dinañ leen jël waaye pour ñi nga xam ne ñoo toppa ci radio bi numbers yi ngeen a call mooy 3333 122 3333 294 wala 5050505 Fatou yaa ngi doon wax balaa kola bi doon ñëw.
waaw maa ngi doon wax yëfi internal control system comme like di leen wax ne mooy naka lañ ñoo saytoo business bi within themselves. waaw maa ngi doon wax yëfi CCTV cameras ne in the first place bi ñoo defee business bi dafa war a get secured. so su boobaa is necessary yow as businessman bi nga install ay CCTV cameras ci sa place ci liggéeyukaay parce que li ko waral mooy mun nañoo am bés xëj na nga am consignment pour war a deliver ay goods léegi waaye su ñu ngi eb bagage yi xëj na am ñu jël dara dugal ko ci biir bagage yi loo xam ne nii bokkut fa so su boobaa su problème amee di nga mun a dem baak nga xool xam lan moo waraloon problème boobu noonu. Another thing tamit mooy ne business bi war naa am like audited accounts comme like ñoo xam ne nii they are independent members ñoo xam ne dinañ war a mun a nekk di ñëw ci sa business bi from time to time di check doxalini business bi waaw audited accounts moom foo ko présent dañ lay wax ne ñii am nañ ñoo xam ne ñi ñu ngi leen di xool te nekkuñ di liggéey within themselves waaw.
So yes, Tijan, let's do the final one on the eligibility criteria. I think that's the security management.
Yes. Some might ask why would GRA require you to have CCTV? Why would GRA require you to have internal control systems? If you are up for the program, like I said earlier, it's not in isolation of the benefits. If, for example, you are an exporter and you are not an AEO holder, when you do your loading at your warehouse or wherever you are doing the loading, customs is not present. No other authority of customs is present. When you bring your consignment to the port, we may verify, may open because we don't know where it was loaded, who loaded it, what is there. Because it's our responsibility to ensure there is security, we may open and check what is there. But if you have the AEO status, what that means is that we have fulfilled our conditions of having a CCTV, we have fulfilled the condition of having security personnel in your premises, you have fulfilled the condition of having restricted areas. Now, why we require that is like Babukar said, in the event that you are doing your loading, and the benefit is that once you come to the port and say, this is what I have as an AU, we don't check. We accept that this is what you have because of the presumption
I'm afraid we may have to take this final caller. I'm also being notified we have about 4 minutes. But let's take this caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Okay, concern about containers. The containers.
Yes.
Yeah, do they have a detective machine whereby if you put it in the container, when there is an object there which is illegal, it will show it out in the detective machine. Ask them whether they know that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, we have a scanner at that is what is called the non-intrusive techniques in customs. Knowing the contents or knowing the dangers might pose to society by just the use of a device. We have the scanning machine at the port. We don't need to open the container to know what is there. It goes through a scanner and the scanner shows us every tiniest detail of the container. So we have a scanner. And especially, the scanner is designed such that what we look out for, it marks it red. Weapons, drugs and chemicals and all those things. When the container goes through the scanner, experts are trained to identify some of these things without having to open the container. Okay.
So just to wrap up quickly on the internal security management, quickly. We have about 3 minutes now, I believe.
Yes, basically that is the security because it's a trust relationship. So when you say this is what I have, we trust that this is what you have because of the assumption that or the presumption that where your container was loaded is safe and is secure.
Okay.
So basically that is.
Just quickly on a minute.
Yes, abaraka bake antumana comme ngamira wato nyi jamfane be danya janere comme but comme tijan ka funya men nyaji ka security ko woni fo bugon lafta jila container nyi because avec load la damen ntel bu ko traji but fengo fen bije rek anyanta tar la camera nyintole yalon ko indi event fen do soto dame yalon ko amantra je abi easy la pour nga ko bo nyoto ngeten du nge jay baake ansuma
abaraka baake njay thank you teacher as well Fatou
waaw kum nekk ni waxtu baak ñoo xoj léegi ñu ngi doon wax ci yëfi last criteria bi mooy security management ndegem comme ñun suñ dee load container bi duñ fa dee nekka so waaye like dinañ make sure ne lépp lu ñoo dugal ci container boobu noonu dinañ ko war a mun a xam pour security reasons.
jërëjëf Fatou thank you Baboucarr and Tijan. Viewers, I'm afraid this is all the time permits for this week. On behalf of the entire senior management and staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority, we thank you for being with us and look forward to being with you again next week, same time. Thank you for watching.